16, 1 to 18. We're continuing our series on true riches. We're still talking about money. Riches. Luke chapter 16, verse 1 to 8. Jesus tells us about a man who employed so many people to, manage his accounts. So let's read it. Jesus told this story to his disciples. There was a certain rich man who had a manager handling his affairs. One day, a report came that the manager was wasting his employer's money. Verse 2, so the employer called him in and said, "What's this that I hear about you? Get your report in order, because you are going to be fired." The manager thought to himself, "Now what? My boss has fired me. I don't have the strength to dig ditches. I'm too proud to beg. And I know how to ensure that I will have plenty of friends." I know how to ensure that I will have plenty of friends who will give me a home when I'm fired. So he invited each person who owed money to his employer to come to discuss the situation. He asked the first one, "How much do you owe him?" The man replied, "I owe him 800 gallons of olive oil." So the manager told him, "Take the bill and quickly change it to 400 gallons. "And how much do you owe my employer?" he asked the next man. "I owe him 1,000 bushels of wheat." That was his reply. Here the manager says, "Take the bill and change it to 800 bushels. The rich man had to admire the dishonest rascal for being so shrewd. And it is true that the children of this world are more shrewd in dealing with the world around them than are the children of light. When you read this scripture, you might think that Jesus is trying to say that being dishonest is commendable. But that's not true. Jesus has never commended dishonesty, has never commended fraud. Actually, what Jesus was trying to make out of this parable was to say that the children of light, that the children of the world, they know how they use their money. But the children of light don't even understand how to deal with money. We'll explain it. Jesus is not trying to say that you should be dishonest with money. He has never approved that. Before you now say, "Pastor, since Jesus has said that, man of God, let's go now and be fraudsters." That's not what Jesus is saying. The manager was dishonest and was charged with wasting his master's possession. And the guy was fearful, he was so fearful. This parable is considered one of the most difficult to understand, because when you look at it, you don't even know where Jesus is coming from again. But Jesus is providing an example on how shrewd the children of darkness can be when it comes to money. How it's not wisdom, it's called wit. How craftily intelligent. But that intelligence is darkened. How they are with money, how they are with finances. He expects the children of light to be greatly intelligent, but from the point of light when it comes to finances and money. When money comes your way, Christ expects you to treat it properly, to treat it with every level of wisdom, every level of appropriation, every level of, what would I use? Intentionality. There's a striking statement there. The sons of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than the sons of light. Why is it we have a lot of people who are not rich in the church? It is not because our God is not rich. It is not because our God is not wealthy when it comes to finances. It is because the sons of light do not have knowledge of kingdom finances. I will tell you this. Now let me tell you this. Poverty is first a state of mind before it is a state of bank account. Whether you like it or not. Give a poor man money, he will still be poor. He doesn't know how to manage it. He doesn't know the purpose of it. So, once a purpose is not defined, you will misuse it. And then it will go. It will vanish. You know money vanishes. You know money vanishes? Yes, it vanishes. You must understand it. So I will give you 3 principles this morning. 3 principles concerning your possessions and what you have. Number 1, it's not your money. Please write it down. Pastor, if you come again, write that one down. That's the first principle. It's not your money. If you understand it's not your money, you will treat it better. How many of you know that you are accountable to that money? Whichever one you get. We usually refer to the money or the possessions we have around us as our own. And that is why we have the guts and the liberty to spend it anyhow we want. Because, quote and unquote, is our own. You might be asking, okay, Pastor, if it's not my money, because I'm sure, Pastor, that account, that money is in my name, with my CAC and BVN. So, Pastor, if that money in my account is not my own, whose own is it? God is the rightful owner of all your money and all your possessions. God owns it. God owns every bit of it. Now, you might ask me, Pastor, what do you mean by that? I was the one that sold. I was the one at work. I was the one waking up late at night. I was the one that did the business. I was the one that traveled. I did this one. I did this one. I worked all year long. I worked for 10 years. I did this. I was one who was hungry just to make sure that I've gotten the fortune I have gotten now. So how is it not my own? 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. Let us read it together. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. Put it on the screen. I want us to read it together. For what gives you right to make such... Let's read it together. I want to go. You right to make such a judgment. What do you have that God hasn't given you? And if everything you have is from God, why boast as though it were not a gift? Question excellently deserved. Everything you have, God gave you. God has it. So you have no right to boast of whatsoever you have in your hand. God owns it. God owns everything. That is the first principle. This principle will help you multiply. This principle will help you manage. This principle will help you be accountable. That you understand is not your own. When you are driving a vehicle that is, quote and unquote, your own, guess what? You drive anyhow, true or false? But if you go and borrow a vehicle and you're a right-thinking person, you're not a hoodlum, you're a right-thinking person, if you borrow a vehicle, you are extra what? Careful. Because that's not your own. There is this great care that comes upon your life when you understand that all you have received from God. Hence, you are careful in your judgment and how you spend whatsoever comes your way. God sends the rain. God sends the sun. Everything that brings harvest, God did. God provided the land. God provided everything. Just like we read in Deuteronomy chapter 8 last week. So that when you finally get this thing, you will not say, I made this thing my own. He says, remember the Lord thy God, for he is the one who gives you power to make wealth. Remember, I'm the one that gave you the land. I'm the one that gave you everything. I placed you there. I placed you in the seat of authority so that you cannot come out one day and say, I own it. You are just a steward of the possessions of God. God provided you with it. Number 2 principle. Because it's not your own and it's now God's own, you are commanded to manage God's money. You are commanded to manage God's provisions, His providence, God's possessions. Because what God gives you is a gift, and you did not earn them, you did not deserve them, they are given to you by grace, and you don't own them, it means that you are responsible to manage it. You are responsible to manage it. And he who is faithful in little will be faithful in what? Much. Let me tell you the truth. One of the ways people disqualify themselves from getting kingdom riches is when they lack management. God is not a waster. God does not waste resources. So to whoever God will give, it is required that that person manages properly. Manages properly. If you see anyone who is a rich and a wealthy person on earth, that person is a manager. You don't just go on spending spree. You know, you are spending, you are spending, you are spending, you are spending. I'm sorry to use this word, but it is time we call these entertainers, call these, what do we call them? Content creators, footballers, whosoever they are, and tell them, we will stop doing all this GoFundMe. Why? At their prime, they wasted so much wealth. You know, if you say things like that now, you will look as if you are very wicked. I'll tell you the truth. A lot of them wasted so much wealth. Some of them, when they go outside the country for a career in business or whatsoever, guess what happens to them? They live in hotels instead of living in houses. And they think that their career will last for 40 years. After 10 years or 7 years, they have a minor injury and it ends their career. Guess what happens? They go back to square zero. They go bankrupt. And then they are looking for GoFundMe. They are requiring the public to give them a lot of money again. No. You manage whatsoever God has given to you. I wish I would not talk about this, but let me give you an example. Someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, no matter what you talk about his personal life, there's something to admire about him physically. And I mean physically, I'm talking about financially. You know what he did? He opened investments. Started building, An average footballer is not worth up to 200 million pounds. Ronaldo is almost worth $1 billion. Almost worth $1 billion. Almost worth $1 billion. Why? Management. Management. It's called management. Do you know there was a time Samuel Eto'o was the highest paid footballer on earth? Do you know there was a time? When he went to Russia. Where is his wealth? Look at what Nigerians do now. After retirement, they start becoming brand ambassadors to betting companies. Why? They don't have money. Yes, but they made so much money. They made so much money. Do you know that if the billionaires of this age get the kind of money footballers and musicians get, there will be trouble, because the kind of money they will have. But the problem is when they receive this money, they spend it anyhow. A lot of times someone will tell you, Pastor, I don't have money. Pastor, I don't have money. You check that person. You are using an iPhone and you say you don't have money. You are using a designer bag and you say you don't have money. And you are still looking for destiny helpers. Your destiny helper is wearing a 20,000 shoe. You, who they are meant to help, you are wearing 200,000 naira shoe. And you are saying, help me. You are going online and you are asking someone to do giveaway to you with a phone greater than the phone he's using. As funny as it sounds, that's true. A lot of times we have eaten up the sources of our wealth. the sources of our wealth, through lack of management. Anything God gives to you, He expects you to manage it properly. He expects you to manage it. You must understand this. If you don't understand this, there will be a problem. And number 3 is that you are accountable to it. I want to share something with you. You should use your money to do 3 things. Use your money to do 3 things. Number 1, use your money to make friends. Verse 9 of that scripture. Luke chapter 16. Luke 16 verse 9. He says, look at the screen here. See what he says. He says, here's the lesson. Use your worldly resources to what? Benefit what? Others and make friends. You see, if you want to multiply your money, use your resources to create contacts and friends. Not just yourself. Don't always be the person that always wants to collect. A lot of us have the receiving mentality. A lot of us have the receiving what? Mentality. And that's why people are scared of us. Because they know anytime we come close to them, it is to receive from them. You must understand that. The possession God has given to you, be wise enough to use it to create good friendship. I'll give you an example. Someone like me. One thing God has helped me, a lot of people think, Pastor, how do you do this one? How do you do this one? How do you get to know this or know that or know that? The little that God has given me, I use it to create impact in the hearts of people. That they cannot forget certain gestures I render or I give to them. I know that these possessions are given to me for a purpose. So someone might be doing something, I said, okay, you know what? Just take this as a support. And in that person's heart, oh, this man of God, oh, this my brother, this my friend, I owe him one. You know the funny thing? One day, when they repay that thing, it might be way greater than whatsoever you've given to them. Don't always look to collect. Don't always look to collect. A lot of times when we see people who are greater than us, all we are looking for, give me, give me, give me. What can you give to them? What can you give to them? Render services. Give them something. Give. Use your possessions to make friends for the benefit of others. The people you help today might in one way or the other help you out tomorrow. You see, there are things that you do today, it will be a testament in the next 40 years. To be a testament in the next 40 years. If you have money, stop living for yourself alone. Train people's kids. Send them to school. Get uniforms for people. Pay hospital bills for people. You don't even know, one day, maybe that boy that was out of school, one day becomes a governor. And you are in trouble one day. And maybe they remember you. I can share so many stories of people I've met somewhere, one place or the other. They are doing great in one thing or the other. Pastor, I was that boy you just paid school fees for. I was that boy you did this. I don't even know. I don't even keep record of it. But they are always grateful. One day I went to an RCC church in Abuja. One guy was just disturbing me. I said, why? He said, can't you remember? I said, I cannot remember you. Pastor, you don't remember? I said, I don't remember you. I don't know you. He said, no, you did. I said, I cannot, but God bless you. He said, Pastor, if you come to town, just forget it. It's me and you. I said, wow. said, okay. That's life. Use your possessions to build bridges, multicultural bridges. Some of you, outside of your geopolitical zone, you know nobody. You help nobody. Outside of your family, you help nobody. Use your possessions rightly. Sow seeds into eternity. Sow seeds into the lives of tomorrow. Are you listening to me here? The possession you have is not just for your daily bread. Influence the lives of others. Pay school fees. Do this, do that, do that, do that one. It's very important. Very important. Number 2, use your possessions to display love, the love of God. And let me explain what I mean by using your possessions to display the love of God. Give me verse 13. Give me verse 13. It says, no one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. You cannot serve both God and money. What is Jesus trying to say here? If you have possessions, if you have money, something will come up tomorrow for you to either serve that money or for you to serve God. If you serve money, it will show the way you spend it. If you serve God, it will show the way you spend it. Some people have let money become their gods. Some people have let materialism become their gods. So that when resources come and possessions come, all they think about is how to enrich themselves. How to get a new car, how to get a new house, how to get this, how to go here and eat, how to go here and do this one. If you truly love God, the way to show it is through your possessions. You cannot serve God and money at the same time. Everyone here who is under the sound of my voice, this might not be a popular teaching, but let me tell you the truth. If God brings resources your way, He brings it so that you can use it to serve Him. How much of your resources goes actively into serving and propagating the kingdom? You see, when the argument of percentage comes, it is because you don't love God enough. Any man who is stingy with his wife or family does not love that family. I say it and I say it again. Did you hear what I said? If you're a man here and you are stingy with your wife or your children, you don't love them. There is a difference between prudence and being stingy. I can't just come to church and throw money anyhow. That is being frivolous. But don't be stingy with the possessions God has given to you. Use your money to serve God. Put your money in missions. Put your money to help the less privileged. Serve God with your money. Get things and go for evangelism. Look at what is happening in the society. I don't want to say much. At the state government, they were giving 150 million by Islamic Bank. You don't understand. That money will be paid back in kind. You don't understand it. I beg you. The kingdom needs your finances. Use your wealth to serve God. How do you spend your money? God gives you money. You spend it on harlots. You spend it on alcohol. Spend it in the club. And they take that money and they use it to destroy the society. You are responsible for it. Don't spend your money anyhow. Don't spend it on things that will later come and defame the name of God. Use your money to propagate the kingdom. That's why you have the money. That's why the money is coming. And the kingdom is propagated. That's why the money is coming. So that if we say we want to shut down Asaba for the sake of the gospel, I'm a keen believer in this. I want to shut down Asaba for the sake of the gospel. We want to bring people to preach the good news of Christ. And also bring relief materials to them. It is from you. It's from your pockets. That's why you make money. And let me tell you, if you are actively involved in the kingdom, you will not lack. Because God knows that your finances is what keeps the kingdom flowing. God knows. The problem is that we live so much for ourselves. Ourselves, our families, myself. Money comes into your account, you're not even thinking about God, you're not thinking about His kingdom, you're not thinking about His ministers, you're not thinking about your neighbors. All you are thinking is, if I get this money now, I'm going to buy this, buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that, buy that, travel this, this and that. You don't remember that His kingdom should be a priority to you. Should be a priority to you. You cannot, I want to drive this home to you. You cannot love God and love money at the same time. You cannot serve God and serve money at the same time. You must serve one. If you are serving God, you will serve Him with everything you have. If you want to serve money, it will make you run away from God. That is why you see people today, they make money and they start telling you, you know, you cannot understand. I'm very busy. I'm very this. I'm very that. But when it's time to spend 4 hours in a club, they are not busy. When it's time to sit down and drink and wine, there is no problem with you eating. I'm not saying you should not eat. I'm not saying you should not buy new clothes, or you should not buy cars, or you should not build your houses. But is that your priority? Is that your priority? I'll share my little personal experience. Some people did not know that before I started certain building projects, I already had money to build a house to live in. But I said, no, I can't be living in my own house when I've not built something for God. We did the first one. We did the second one. And then when I came to Asaba here, the engineer is aware. I already paid him money to start my own personal building project. One day I called him to my office. I said, no, see this money? Put it, everything in church. Every single thing. Let's build the church again. That's my priority. The kingdom. Everything God gives me is for His kingdom. It's for His kingdom. It's for His kingdom. Be careful where you spend your money, how you spend your money. You will give an account for it because it's called God's provision. Everything God gives to you comes for a purpose. Comes for a purpose. Why is this thing coming to my hand? You know, a lot of us think God has a problem with blessing you. It does not. God does not have a problem with you being a millionaire, a billionaire. He can do that. Very quickly, He can do that. But you are not yet at that place where money will not struggle with Him in your heart. Did you hear what I said? A lot of times, you might not know, but money is still struggling with God in your heart. Some of you will be okay to send your wives to church and stay in church and stay at home, just to show that you're a big man. That's why I'm telling you, some of you now who are, you know that your husband is at home just as the man of the house. So he's showing his place at home. When God gauges the heart of a man and it is right with him, there's nothing he cannot entrust him with. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. That is why when you see people who have touched the real wealth, they are simple people. Because nothing really moves them. See all this sophistication we do. You're not yet ready for the real thing. If you are ready for the real thing, you go simple. Nothing moves you. Nothing moves you. It's not. See all this, every day you like shiny things. You like this just to show that you want to create distraction everywhere you go, so that they will know it's you. You're not ready for the main thing. God wants to get you to a point where that thing he gives to you does not struggle with him in your heart. In your heart. Now someone say, "Oh Lord, I'm ready." No, I did not say someone. Someone will say, "Oh Lord, I'm ready. I'm ready. Give me now. I'm ready now." Oh, I lift my hands up. The moment you get alert, you stop praying for 2 weeks. If money finishes, you go back to crying to God. You know what I'm saying is true. You need God less. That's why people say that credit alert can be therapeutic. It's morning injection. You receive credit alert. You are strong for the day. Yeah, calm down. You can't serve both. So in the very little you have, how much are you using it to serve God? How much are you using it to serve God? Who was I talking to last week? I said last week, okay, it was on Friday. Yes, it's last week, we're in a new week. I said last week when I was talking to some people, I said that the principle of tithing is the principle of accountability and source. And the man who tithes because he knows that his source is God. You know everybody has a source. How many of you know everyone has a source? Can I show you why? Can I show you why? Can I show you why? Okay. What happens to a fish when you bring that fish out of water? What happens? Will it live? Yes. After struggle, what will happen? What will happen when, even though a dog can swim, a dog cannot survive in water? Do you know that? So you carry a dog now, or you carry an elephant, or you carry, what would you call now? Goat, and put inside water. What will happen? Because that place is not its what? It's not habitat. So that's not its source. Now go to a tree, cut the branch, bring it out. What happens? It dies. So are human beings. Any human being that fails to acknowledge God as his source dies. But he does not know. But his death is spiritual death first. You know when God told Adam, the moment you eat of this fruit, you shall what? You disconnected from God, straight. You disconnected from God. Whenever you are tithing, what you are trying to say is that God is your source. And let me tell you, everybody who has made it in life is accountable to something. Whether you like it or not. Everybody pays homage to something. Whether you like it or not. Except you're not ready for the real deal. Everybody. I'm telling you, the richest people on earth always pays homage to somebody. You cannot be neutral and you are the zenith. It's because you're not doing anything significant. That is why they've not come for you. You do not hear what I'm saying. But you must be significant. You must have a backup somewhere. You see the way you are now? If you win election today, I promise you, governorship election, I promise you that in the next 14 days, whether physically or spiritually, you will receive visitations. Yes, it is a reality, whether you like it or not. You think you want to be... So, you see some Christians, they go into the marketplace and they are just neutral. They don't understand. Okay, let me give an example. Why do you think the richest men in the world, every year they give a percentage of their money to certain charities? Go and investigate those charities. Those charities are in one way or the other also causing trouble in this world, but you will not know. Can't check the charities some of them donate money to. They are pro-abortion. You don't understand. These people give this thing, it's their obligation. Pro-LGBT. Go and check what I'm trying to tell you. And they give it out so much, they call them philanthropists. In the kingdom, we're not philanthropists. We are givers, covenant givers. We are tithers. I'm telling you too, this is a covenant. This is something we do because it has spiritual. Nobody goes to hell because he does not tithe or does not give to God. Nobody, you will never do that. You never go to hell for that. After all, Malachi was actually referring to priests more than the people. Actually, in the real sense. You will never go to hell because of tithe. But there's so much you can do for the kingdom. Turn to the person by your left or your right and say, there's so much I can do for the kingdom. Don't be irresponsible. Don't be irresponsible. Serve only God with your wealth. Serve Him with your substances. No projects you can sponsor. No projects you can sponsor. Be open-minded with your finances. Talk to your husband, talk to your wife. Honey, this month, I think there's something we need to do for children, for this or that or this. Look up to me. Some of you that also give to church, but you don't give to people, I wonder where your wickedness is coming from. You ask someone, you say, I don't give to people. The only person I give is God. The only place I give is church. Church is the only fertile ground. It's not true. Christ said that on that last day, He will ask you that when I was hungry, you did not feed me. When I was thirsty, you did not give me. He said, no. He said, when you do it for others, you did it for me. So if your life is just blessing the kingdom and not blessing humanity, it's not complete. You are coming to church, you see a beggar, you will not give him money. Then when you now come to church, you bring your 2,000 and you want to dance 2 million dance because you are flying 2,000 around. But a beggar, you cannot give a beggar 100 naira. You are giving to God, but your heart has problem. Yes. Are you listening to me? Yes. Stinginess. Yeah. Some people can be stingy. When it's time to eat, they wait for everybody to go, and then they eat. I watch, when I was growing up, there's this movie we watched, Osofia. A visitor came, he was about to eat. Then he put the food on there, and then started washing his hand. You came very late. I just finished. Stinginess. One of the things my dad taught me from an early stage was how to share my possession, how to share my food. You know this thing that if you give someone something, a sharp pain comes into your heart. There's something wrong with you. You know, I think I said this in last week. All your properties, you must sell it. You cannot give it out. You're in trouble. you're in trouble. You have made gods out of them. You can still buy something new and still give it out. Are you listening to me? You can still buy something new and still what? Give it out. Yes. It's not until it's old stuff. You can buy something expensive. Now, people cannot give people expensive things. How many of you watched that movie with Patience Uzoko? That the son came back from the village, from US, and then was giving people $1. She would take the envelope, change it to 50 naira. People don't like that woman in real life because they think that's how she is. But some people are like that. Some wives are like that. When they see their husband trying to give, say, why are you giving to these people now? Honey, let's go now. Some husbands are like that too. Because you had to sweat for it. And that's the reason Apostle Paul told the Ephesian church. He told them that they should work so that they can have to give. Which means that one of the reasons to work is so that you have, that you can give. So it means that if even a percentage of whatsoever you earn should just be for giving to people. My grandmother used to teach my dad that when you go to the village and you cultivate, when you are harvesting, don't harvest everything. Because there are some people who don't have the strength to farm. When they go, they can now pick it. I don't know where these kind of teachings are again. So he said, don't harvest everything for the poor people who don't have a farm to farm. But they must eat. Anything God has given to you that does not affect mankind. That does not affect mankind. That's why you should check. I will close with this. Some of you young boys and young girls, what kind of money will you make? And somebody somewhere will tell you that nobody should eat that money with you except you die. And you take the money and you're eating. You see that thing is against the principle of wealth. So that's why for them to now say, they say, if you chop this money with me, or you go die or you go mad. That's why, let me tell you. You see those people that when they have money, people run away from them. Be careful. Because you don't know which one you are getting into. Say, no. You make money. Some of you have money. Your mother in the village, no roof over her head. She's suffering. You bring one small girl somewhere. You need deliverance. So. And she's the one even bossing you. You buy iPhone for her. Buy this for her. Buy this for her. Your mother does not change clothes. You know what will happen? Even that girl might take you to one prophet house who will not tell you that your mother is a witch. Your mother, she was a witch. She did not kill you 9 months in the stomach. All of a sudden you run. You now run from her. And you will pay for it. Oh. You pay for it. Breeding wickedness everywhere. This is what I advise young men and young women. You see, some of you who go for dates, you go for a date, you're eating. Observe them properly. They are very nice to you. But when they see waiters, they talk to them anyhow. You want to give them tips. They say, why are you giving? This is not their job. After that date, break it up. That person is not a good person. That person is not a good person. You know that kind of thing. Huh? You want to give some. You say, is it not his job? Is it not his job? So your job is now to eat. Break that thing off from there. After paying that, they go. Run. Because one day, your father might be sick and you want to send money to your father. You say no. It's that small. Oh, Jesus. Pastor, this is your man to put into trouble. Just you can't. Don't serve this thing. This thing called money. Don't serve it. is here to make life better, not to control you. I'll end with this. Money is meant to be a servant and not to be a master. Just write it down and you stand to your feet. Money is meant to be a master, is meant to be a servant and not a master. You send it on errands to get things for you, to get things better for you. But you should not serve it. You should serve only the Lord thy God. Any other thing you serve outside that is idolatry.